all the YouTubers made it happen that it's not weird to say hello and then nobody's there to say hello back, and somehow you're just speaking with yourself. But I'm sure it's gonna get better and better the more I do this. So today I would like to talk about self-confidence regarding sexuality. So you can also call it sexual self-confidence. In my studies, I've been learning about sexual self-confidence, and also my master thesis was about this topic. So I do believe I am able to tell you a few things about it, and maybe it can help you out. First of all, just learning what it means to be sexually self-confident, and then maybe also becoming more sexually self-confident if you feel like you are insecure in some ways during sexuality, within sexuality. So yeah, why is this important for anyone? I think it's really important because some people would like to have sex or would like to participate in sexual behavior, I guess, but because of their insecurity they might not have sex, or not even maybe go on dates, or maybe even feel stopped to flirt with somebody because they have this idea, oh, it could turn into a sexual action, and then I'm really insecure and I don't know what to do, or I don't like to show myself, I don't like my body, I feel weird about my smell or my taste or whatever. So I think it's important for some people to really work on their insecurities to become more secure, and then to be able to have a more fulfilling sexuality. So first of all, what is sexual self-confidence? Before I get into specific traits that a sexually self-confident person might have, I would like to first say, in general, of course, although there are specific things that define sexual self-confidence, if you feel sexually self-confident and half of the things don't apply to you that I'm going to mention, then it's fine, like, don't worry about it. This is more for people who don't feel so self-confident, because by defining what sexual self-confidence is, you can kind of see, oh, actually, yeah, this is something I can still work on and improve, or this is something I can still do to improve. I hope you know what I'm trying to say. Sexual self-confidence has a lot to do with how you feel in your body, and also how you feel with the gender that you have and that you present. It has to do not only with liking the way you are feminine or masculine, or the way you present and the way you are, well, basically what you have on your body and in your body, combined with also showing it to someone, so feeling confident showing the things you have to a person. Of course not to all people, but basically to people you want to involve with sexually. It also has to do with knowing what your body is able to do. So when you have a penis, obviously you can penetrate with your penis, but you can also have someone penetrate you because you have a hole too, an anus, as you know. Kind of knowing what your body can do and also using those things has to do with sexual self-confidence. And for a woman, it's the same. Of course, she can penetrate in some ways. She can penetrate with her fingers, even with her genitals. In some way, she can penetrate or be active. But also, she can take something inside of her. And if a female knows that and has practiced that and it feels good to her, then that can lead to sexual self-confidence, to a stronger sexual self-confidence than a woman who perhaps has never put anything inside her, or perhaps a woman that doesn't like to be penetrated. And again, it doesn't mean that a woman who doesn't want to be penetrated is not sexually self-confident. She can totally be sexually self-confident. She can totally be happy and a sexual woman. But I'm just saying that there are some things that influence your sexual self-confidence And those are some of the things. What I've been talking about can also be kind of concluded as two words. It can be concluded as narcissistic traits and exhibitionistic traits. So with the narcissistic traits, that's kind of like, yeah, just loving your body, loving yourself, loving what you can do with your body sexually. And the exhibitionism is about liking to show your body to someone, liking to show your sexual arousalness to someone, not hiding. Not hiding also means to look at someone while you're in contact with them sexually. So having eye contact has a lot to do with sexual self-confidence. The more confident you feel, the easier it is for you to be in eye contact, and the more you'll probably like to be in eye contact. And now that you have an idea of what, per definition, sexual self-confidence is, you can, maybe you have already thought about it while watching this or before, or maybe now is the time to just think a little bit about how sexually self-confident you feel when you're in a sexual situation. What are maybe things that I've mentioned that you feel you don't have or you don't yet have? And to finish the video, I would like to give you some ideas of how you can train your sexual self-confidence and how to become more confident during sexual situations. So maybe the biggest factor of sexual self-confidence is accepting, and not only accepting, but maybe even liking or loving your body and the functions you have. So for women, often, or most women during self-pleasure use their clitoris to stimulate themselves, so they touch themselves from the outside. And that's amazing, that's fine if that's how you reach orgasm, or if that's the way you please yourself. Totally amazing and great for you. I would just encourage you to also get to know your insides, your vagina, because the more you get to know all of your body, the better for you. I mean, the more you know about yourself, the better in a way, usually. So yeah, I encourage you to really start maybe during self-pleasure touching your insides too. Just careful, and maybe switching from the outside to the inside, kind of just figuring out what you might like. And some women don't feel a lot in their vagina. That's normal, because if you haven't used your vagina a lot, how does she know how to feel something? She doesn't. She has to learn it too. It's like learning a language. It's the same basically. Your vagina has to learn that there are pleasurable things she can feel. So if you, on a daily routine or a few days a week, you just start to touch yourself on the inside a little bit and just see where that goes, that's a great tip. The relationship you have to your genitalia is also an important thing you can improve to become more self-confident in sexuality. You could just start by greeting your genitalia every morning when you wake up. It's so easy to do, and it might sound weird at first, but like you greet your best friends when you see them on the street. You greet your even not best friends. You greet a lot of people and you connect with them. Why don't you greet your genitalia? It's a nice thing to do, and it might make your relationship stronger with each other. And you can greet it with words, but you can also even just put your hand on it for a few seconds and just recognize that it's there, that it's with you all day, when you walk around, when you sit, when you sleep. It's there all the time. Why are we never saying hello to it? What you can also do is just learn about sexuality, that what you're already doing right now as you're watching this video, but just like reading a lot about sexuality and getting more knowledge, that can make you feel secure and safer and better. I also encourage women especially, but also men, to really look at their genitalia. So for women, obviously it's easier or just possible if you use a mirror and put it in front of you, and just to like look at it and breathe. Don't forget to breathe while looking at yourself. Just look at it. Don't try to be too judgy. Simply look at it as if you were looking at a picture and describing it. For men, the same. I mean, most men have their genitalia in their hands all day when they go to urinate, or men's genitalia are just more presented and easier to find, so a lot of men really know what they look like down there. But also for you men, of course, like really observing your genitalia and looking at it very intentional can be very different than just going to use the bathroom with your genitalia. I have an exercise for self-love that you can try out for loving your body more and feeling less insecure about some body parts. And that would be basically every time you go and take a shower, you decide on a body part for that specific shower. And you will basically wash your body the way you wash it normally, but then you will concentrate explicitly on that body part. So if for that shower you chose your shoulder, you would just shower, and then you would especially lovingly treat your shoulder and massage it a little bit while you're showering, and touch it nicely. And also don't really look at your shoulder that much, but look at your hand touching your shoulder. So when you're touching yourself while showering, you should look at your hand that's touching you and not the body part you're touching. That can make a big difference, and that will improve your self-love in time if you really practice that. Don't forget to breathe and be a little bit moving while touching, because that always makes it easier to have positive thoughts and not so much like negative thoughts. And what we want is to have positive thoughts while touching yourself. And one thing I always say that is super important, to have a name for your genitals. A lot of people don't have any names. They basically say, oh, my part's down there, or oh, my, I don't know, they don't really have a name. So if you want to feel good with your body parts, you must have a name for it. Everyone has a name. Everything has a name. This is a plant. This is my face. And isn't it weird to not have a name for your genitalia? It can be and obviously it can be a name that you just feel confident with saying. It can be the terms that the medicine uses. So it can be penis and vagina and those kind of things. But it can also be a very personal name. And I think in time you might want to change your name depending on how your relationship is going with your vagina or your penis. And then I would like to give you 1 or 2 more tips during sexual intercourse or sexual situations. So the other things I've mentioned are more things you can do on the long term, but once you're in a sexual situation, there are a few easy things you can do to just feel a little bit more confident if you are getting insecure. So one thing is breathing. Really, it sounds simple, and it is simple in a way, but I know it can be really hard. But just breathing deeply in and out and focusing on the breathing out, trying to keep the breathing out longer than the breathing in. That will calm your body and make it easier for you to be relaxed a little bit more. And moving your body. I know it's hard sometimes when you're shy or when you feel insecure, you really don't want to move. That's kind of what happens. But if you somehow make it possible to move a little bit more, however that works for you, and even breathing will make your body move more. But if you try to somehow move a little bit more, especially in this area or in this area, you will have different thoughts. Your brain will be able to think in a bigger way and at the same time think less. And that sounds weird, but it opens, so the more your body moves, the less you have very specific thoughts, and the more your brain can function in a lot of ways and be more in the moment. The more you move, the less insecure you will feel, and the more you'll forget about, oh, what if my little fat roll is looking out, or oh, what if I I didn't shave perfectly. You'll forget about those things if you allow yourself to move more and to breathe more. That was it for today. I will definitely make more videos on this topic because I didn't want to say everything in one video, but I feel like I've given you a few ideas of how you can improve your sexual self-confidence. And if you have any questions, feel free to write them below, and then I can do a new video on this topic or on other topics. If you have sexual topics that you have questions about, I'm super interested to create some content for you. I hope you have a very good day and some motivation to work on your sexuality.